and just like that, the Disney World Marathon is over. Finally finished the first marathon. Here's my medal to prove it. And it spins too. It's very classy, very nice. Got the whole ordeal on, the shirt, everything. But I wanted to give you guys a little update about my first marathon experience, everything that went down. The program that I followed, it was a 16-week program, and it was pretty similar to my past training methods, what I've been doing. The only thing that changed was my long runs, obviously those 15, 20-mile runs, and a lot of easy runs throughout the week. It's just increasing the mileage a bunch. I was lucky enough to not get injured or hurt. I had a few mishaps, missed a few days here and there just due to soreness, especially after my 20-mile runs. So as I get there, I am stressing out just a little bit just because I'm a little nervous, obviously for my first marathon. I'm in uncharted territory. The day of the race was actually Sunday. They changed the race time. It used to be for Run Disney events, 5:30 a.m. was the start time. This year, they decided to push it back or push it even earlier. It was 5 a.m. So that means from the hotel, I had to wake up at 2 a.m. Get there, just kind of relaxing a little bit, getting ready for the start, and then have to walk half a mile to the start. That was a bit unfortunate. It's like that every year. You have to walk a ways, especially if you're in the higher corrals, which I was in Corral A, which is the beginning of the start. You have the Elite Corral and then A Corral. So as we're standing there, really wasn't doing a lot of warming up. Not a lot of people were actually, because it was 82 degrees at the start line. And this is at like 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:30. Yes, I was sweating just standing there, and I was like, okay. Standing there, waiting for the race to start, all these thoughts are clouding my mind about adjusting my pace because, heat and temperatures that you're not used to running in, you always have to adjust your pace just due to, you don't want to get heat exhaustion during this event. So my plan was originally to go out at 6:50 pace and then go down to 6:45 pace. That was the plan. A lot of my 20-mile runs and a lot of my longer runs were right at like 6:45 pace, sometimes a little quicker, like 15-mile runs. I was running like 6:35 average. So I felt confident that I could do that, just start off a little bit slow. But as the heat was really getting to me already at the start, because I was sweating really badly, I decided to knock it back and say, okay, go at 7 flat pace, and then we'll see what we can do afterwards. So we're standing there, and 5 o'clock rolls around, and they announced that there's a delay in the race. Okay, that seems to happen. That has happened time and time at other races, not Run Disney, but other races. 5:10 rolls around. People are starting to get a little agitated, a little infuriated a little bit, including myself. But I was trying not to let that get to me. 5:20 rolls around. Still, we haven't started. And then finally at 5:28, the gun goes off and we go. We were just, all of us, all the Corral A, we were just ready to go because there was a lot of not happy campers there, me included. I was trying to keep a positive attitude, but you're ready for a marathon. It's not a 5K. You're ready to run, and they delay it by almost 30 minutes. Not a lot of people were happy about that. A takeoff. So first mile, it was like 7:01. I was like, okay, feel very calm, cool, collected right now. I had a Nathan bottle, and I had four goos, and I had about 8 salt tablets. I was gonna take one every 30 minutes or so. 5K rolls around, still feeling good. 10K, I passed 10K mark, 6 miles. I'm starting to sweat a lot. It is very apparent that I'm sweating a lot because it is so hot, especially with the humidity. It feels like it's 90 degrees out there. Mile 9 comes around, and that is when you enter Magic Kingdom. I got a good morale boost because the crowd was amazing. Mile 12 hits, and I'm starting to struggle a little bit. And I'm trying to stay in a positive mindset, but I was kind of getting mad at myself because I was struggling, and I shouldn't be struggling at 7 flat pace at the 12th mile. That never happens to me. Any of my long runs that were longer than that, I was running way faster than this. Half marathon rolls around, still 7 flat pace, felt good. 14 rolls around. I was like, okay, I'm gonna slow down. And then we ran to Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom was amazing still that early on. I believe we hit Animal Kingdom around mile 14 or 15. Because I remember that's when I started to struggle. 14, 15 felt very good. And then we exit Magic Kingdom, had a really good morale boost outside of Magic Kingdom and inside with all the cast members, because Magic Kingdom or Animal Kingdom was not open just yet to the public. This is still going on super early, but Magic Kingdom is a good like viewing area for a lot of spectators. So I clearly remember exit that, mile 16 rolls around. I passed the big mile 16 marker, and there was a water station up ahead, and I had to get water. I've been hydrating very well this entire time with my bottle, getting every water station, and I slowed down just a little bit. Got the biggest cramp in my quad I've ever had, and I normally don't get cramps, hardly ever, even when I'm racing heat and stuff like that. Biggest cramp I've ever gotten. Had to stop, and I was like just trying to rub it out, and they actually had a biofreeze there, so I was putting that on there real quick. That mile was really slow. It was like 8:30 because I had stopped to put that on. Next mile, 16 and 17 was that, and then mile 17, I didn't realize I had slowed down so much. It was around 9 minutes, and at that point I was like, okay, just focus on hydrating, focus on taking your goos, just focus on that. And I was hydrating a ridiculous amount. What I would do, because they had these water stations were very long. It was like a tunnel that you ran through with all the volunteers, because I was pouring water at this time at my head because the sun started to come up. It was getting even hotter. It was probably 85, 86 at that point with the sun, and it was kind of clear skies with the humidity. So I was dumping water on my head. So I had this good system going where I'd run through the tunnel of all the volunteers, first water, dump on my head, and then I would take another one, sip it, and then I would take another one towards the end, twist off my cap for my Nathan bottle, dump the water in so I had some to carry me on to the next mile. 18 rolls around, and this is the first time I stop, where I stop. I can't walk. My quads are hurting so bad right now. At this point, I'm just getting very, very frustrated with myself. 19, I remember 18 and 19, I walked the entire mile. I looked at my watch when I crossed it, it said like 14 minutes, 15 minutes or something like that. At that point, I knew it was over. But it's weird because it was, at certain races I've had it happen where, I've dropped out of races before. This was hard because you're thinking about dropping out, but you don't want to drop out because you want to finish because you're traveling all this. You have 7.2 miles to go. That's not a quick 1 or 2 miles. You have 7 miles to go. So those last 7 miles were brutal. I was running and walking the last 7 miles. It was the longest 7 miles I've ever had to do. Each mile felt like it took forever. I saw none were below 12 minutes, I believe, the last. It was brutal. Every aid station I was taking biofreeze, I just blew up bad. And I knew it was because of the heat, because here in Tennessee, we were, I was training in 30-degree weather every day almost. And then come here to 80 degrees. I did a few runs on the treadmill, like long runs, like in the gym, treadmill, very hot. And I did pretty good. I thought that would help me, but it didn't. It didn't help with the humidity. So last 7 miles were brutal. Mile 23, I'm just like, 3 more miles. And finally I see mile 26. At this point, my whole body's hurting so bad from heat exhaustion. I'm cramping up everywhere. It's hard. Even that I was like, okay, I'm gonna run the last 0.2. I couldn't. At Disney, when you hit 26, you have this little straightaway and then a turn to the finish. So I was like, I can't even run that. So I had to stop. And as you saw in the footage, how slowly I was running and how bad you could see on my face. I was walking, and then finally I turned and started jogging and finished. Time was over 4 hours. I felt like I could have run like 3:05, maybe cracked 3 hours, but about 3:05, 3:10 was my goal. So I didn't want to have a goal going into my first marathon. I just wanted to have fun. But I kind of had that number at the back of my head just based off paces, if I blew up a little bit or not. And finally being done, head over to medical because I need ice. I want everybody to wrap me in ice and just cool down. Sit down at medical, and really nice young lady is helping me. And I've passed out at races before, but I start having that feeling again. I start to get really dizzy when I feel like I'm gonna pass out. Like I know this feeling. She's icing me, wrapping me up, and I like grab her arm and tell her like, hey, I'm getting ready to pass out, I'm getting ready to faint. And she's telling me to calm down, and like she's helping me like, breathe. And I'm telling her like, hey, I'm literally getting ready to go down. And next thing I know, I wake up and there's about 10 people surrounding me. I had been out, I distinctly remember the guy. He said I was out for about 30 seconds, which was a lot longer than I've usually been out for. Usually like 8-10 seconds. So that was very scary. Woke up, I was sitting down on their bench, and I was like going in and out. They had to physically pick me up and put me in a wheelchair and then travel me into the building, where it was very cool, very nice. Like, it was very cold in there. I was going in and out, and it was a little embarrassing for me personally, a lot of people, because I was like drooling all over the place, and I couldn't move. I was a wreck. Everything was just like, can't move. Get in there, and everyone, they were handing me Gatorade, asked if I needed an IV. I didn't need an IV. They were handing me Gatorade, and just drinking, trying to stay hydrated, and getting those electrolytes and all the salt back. I'm just talking to them. They're making sure I'm okay, which props to you guys, all the medical staff for Run Disney. You guys were on it like that. So that was the end of my marathon experience. And then I just take a nice bath. And the next few days were awful. That's why it's taking me so long to get this video out, just because this past week has been brutal. But today is the first day where it's like, I'm about 90% like healed. So yeah, it was probably the most satisfying race I've ever had, in terms of I really had to push and fight and not to give up. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video.